This last race of the day. The red lights will be up in second. Now they are away and racing. It's a fairly clean start from pole position for Sebastian Fischer. He will look to drag race Matt Luff down towards Copse Corner. He will sweep across into the right hand to take the lead. It's Mike Comber up to third, followed by Jack Brewer in fourth position. I think it is then Joe Wiggin in fifth. And there's Oliver Allwood going side by side with one of his AB Motorsport teammates, Paul Bateman. He's one of the top Masters drivers in the field. He was top Masters car on the grid as they come up through Beckett's for the first time. And here comes Matt Luff making a dive up the inside already for the lead. If Fischer leaves the door open and doesn't learn his lessons from race one, he might possibly lose more positions. Luff then runs out wide on the X trying to get the power down. And now it's the two fastest men in qualifying.
Side by side down the straight already on this first lap. There's cars diving around all over the place as well, trying to gain any ground they can. It's a bit of a traffic jam down towards Brooklands, isn't it? But look at that. Through into the inside, now into the lead, surely. He's gone and got it done, hasn't he? The 158.
Yeah, looks like it. Looks like Mike Comer's managed to make his way through, I think. So into Luffield they go. It's second place now between Matt Luff and Sebastian Fischer. They're both in the auto test cars. And then we've got, I think, Joe Wiggin up to fourth position, running wide. There is Matt Luff, and that gives the momentum to Joe Wiggins. He squeezes his way through in the black and fluorescent pink, white and yellow car up into third position. And Sebastian Fischer's coming back at Mike Comer now as they come across the line. They're going to be side by side on the sprint towards Copse Corner. And I think as they turn in, yes, he is back in front. Sebastian Fischer on the form of his life this weekend. He's absolutely flying at her this season. It's his best weekend to date so far. He's gone a little wide on the exit to allow Comer back through. And now it's Joe Wiggin in the mix now in third position. He goes up to second with the momentum of Copse Corner. He is flying at it, and his teammate Jack Brewer for Tucker Motorsport is trying to go with him. And again, it's what we said before the start. You get out of the train and you lose one position, lose momentum. You don't just lose one place, you lose 2, 3, 4, 5. And now Fischer, who was leading Exton Copse Corner, now has got to do it all over again to get himself back up towards the front. As here comes Wiggin to try and get the lead off Comer down towards Brooklands. It's
just one big shuffle. I mean, watching them come out of Woodcote that time round, it was just like one really fast rolling start. They were just 2 by 2 completely, all the way through the mid-pack. That's the number 93 of Brewer trying to go around the outside, now down the inside of Fischer. You can see the cars just leaning as hard as they can on the door handles as they go around Luffield, and he's managed to get it done down the inside, and now just behind him as well. Allwood's trying to come through here as well. He's not quite got the overlap though. He's got to be careful because the 72 of Luff is right behind him as well. Luff started on pole yesterday afternoon and had a bit of a nightmare and dropped down quite considerably as the race began. Got a bit of a battle just going past the commentary box as well. Number 30, 87 and 67 further down, just having a big scrap there. There's just so many battles going on everywhere on track. But this train for the lead, honestly, it's like, do you want to lead? Do I want to lead? It's like a long distance running race. No one wants to be at the front.
It's a very British situation. After you. No, after you, I insist, because everyone wants the toast. It's a case of, no, you lead. No, I insist, you lead. No, I insist, you lead.
It's like holding the door for someone.
Exactly. So, ironically, no one wants to really, if you see what I mean, no one wants to give the toe to anyone else, because, of course, it means that they have a big disadvantage. They're the one punching the hole in the air for everyone to benefit from. So, Joe Wiggin, meanwhile, probably just wants a race victory. He doesn't even care, probably. You might care about Mike Comer going up the inside, though, into Brooklands, and he does make the move stick, and the team boss of MCR makes his way up through. It's Mike Comer racing. It's Mike Comer leading the way now, passing Joe Wiggin. It's now Jack Brewer up to third place. Got his first podium to the championship last year at Snetterton. That's when Joe Wiggins' form in the championship really started last year when he joined in 2019. As Steve Foden gets very sideways in the black and gold 77. He's now going to be trying to fend off the 29 of Adam Craig around the outside. That will be for 7th and 8th position across the line, but it's still Comer that leads it. Wiggin looking to the outside in second place. The gap was 98 thousandths of a second across the line. There's a bit of a lock up there with someone getting off onto the dirt. As they come through the right-hander at Copse, you hear the tyres just squealing as they come through Copse Corner, and Comer now still leads. But look at this, Brewer's going to get up inside for second potentially. Fischer's in there. Luff is looking down to the outside of everyone if he can get stopped on the brakes. Everyone's trying to be leading in out exiting brackets. It's going to be very tense. Luff's all over the curbs and out wide. Oh, goodness me, 2 cars involved. That's the 25. That is Stephen New, and the 28. That is Kevin Pemberton. And they've both come together, I'm afraid, at Copse Corner, so hopefully both are okay.
There's a car around at Beckett's as well, actually. Just seen that on the CCTV. It looks like they've just lost it on the way in, and then it's spun the other way around. There's cars dispersing all over the place. There it is, the 21.
That's Chris Malloy. So Matthew Fletcher drove that car, and their first race. Fischer takes it over. As Sebastian Fischer is going for it. I think he's at 4th or 5th at the moment. Someone locks up. That's Paul Bateman going deep, and he loses a place to Ian Blake in the 95. And Jack Brewer's down into the lead now. But Jack Brewer, dare I say, it hasn't won a race just yet, but everyone's lifting off.
There's a safety car out, I believe. Yes,
yeah, safety car.
Yeah, the two cars off at Cops. I'm just looking at them on CCTV now. One of them stationary. They're just getting the driver out of the car. They're just speaking to them just to make sure that they stayed where they were before the safety car came out, and now it's out. They know that it's safe for them to at least get out of the vehicles. It looks like there's been quite the big hit on the right-hand side of one of them. Obviously, that's the driver's side. And he's leaning onto the roll cage. I think he's maybe just turning the GoPro off. But at the moment, there's definitely something wrong with the 28 because the wheels are really aggressively angled to the left when he's come to a stop. So it seems to have broken something on the front right. You can see the front left hanging down as well on the 25. That's Stephen New, and that car definitely isn't new, to be honest. Very second hand at the moment.
I have to say, because we had one safety car in the Fun Cup yesterday, this is the first safety car of the day, if you believe it, in that many cases, because we haven't had any other championships. So, regardless of everything that's gone on, I think it's fairly impressive that the meeting's been able to carry on with only getting to this point in the afternoon where we've had a safety car. So, that's fair enough. Now, this is interesting because looking at the race order then, so Jack Brewer, who, I don't want to curse it, so I'll touch wood, hasn't won a race so far this season. He's been almost desperate to get a good result in many cases. And the strongest performance he had in any previous Mazda MX-5 weekend was last year at Stesta, where he picked up his first 2 podiums. He's now worked his way into the lead, and what's impressive also is that he had an incident at Donington Park where initially he thought that was his season over, but the incredible work by Tucker Motorsport got that car rebuilt, got it resorted, got it out and ready for Silverstone, and he's repaying them now with the effort with 8.5 minutes to go into the safety car. As we see that our fantastic marshals and recovery teams are already on the scene.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of debris just behind the JCB on the CCTV camera. There's quite a bit of debris on the right.
I will say one mention is that Stephen Newman, the 25, has gone out. There are 1 or 2 marshals down there that are staying with Kevin Pemberton, who isn't out of the car yet, so I do hope he's okay. So rather than dwell on that, there is the medical response team is out there. So
yeah, just got that now.
Yeah, and if anything, they go out there. If an accident like that, they always go out there purely for a precaution, and the driver's laws also go to the to see the chief medical officer. At least purely for a precaution, just to make sure there's nothing they can get out of the car and make sure there's nothing that isn't evident that isn't initially evident for what's going on. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully he's okay and there's not too much of a drama on that one. Let's focus on the situation with the lead then, because we've got Jack Brewer, who leads the way then from Mike Comer in second place, Joe Wiggin, who was leading for a moment, in third, Matt Laffey was the front row sitter in fourth place, the pole man Sebastian Fisher is in fifth, Ollie Allwood sixth, and that's probably a little bit further back than maybe he ideally would like to be. Seventh place for Adam Craig, eighth for Oliver Graham, ninth for Steve Foden, and 10th for Owen Mills, with Ian Blake in 11th place from Paul Bateman in 12th. And then it's Ben O'Hare in 13th. He's had a couple of strong results throughout the season so far, and he's had a couple of top tens. And there is just the white car with the offset black and red stripes just there going through the shot there in 13th place, just ahead of Tim Dorr, Bill Taylor, then Tim Dorr. And then it's the 60 of one of our Attards, or Attard family. That is Oliver Attard, and he is ahead of Luke Pullen in 17th place. I was expecting him to make a few more strides up the field, but unfortunately he hasn't been able to just yet. So back in 17th place, and maybe finding it a bit more difficult to pick his way through the order this time, maybe on a circuit where there is a lot more slipstreaming and toes in that sense. Lick Ledoyen sits 18th. We've got Matt Allen in his and Misty Racing's first weekend in the MX-5 Championship, so welcome to them, because they're also running for the first time a car in the, as we saw, the Fiesta Junior Championship for Mitch Marie. So 2 new championships for them this weekend. They've also got some racing going on at Brands Hatch. They've spread their team out between 5 different cars, because about 4 or 5 different championships, which is quite extraordinary. But such is the outfit for Club Motorsport.
Yeah, and it's infectious, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So the car's still making their way around under the safety car.
Oh, well, they've just on one of our CCTV cameras, they're just airlifting the 25 out of the way. There's big damage to the front right of the car, bodywork-wise. The wheel itself looks okay, but the bodywork's been knocked in by quite a considerable amount. The medical team are still with the 28, so they're just working with him just to get him out of the car, just to make sure everything's all fine. But as we know, Copse is it's quite the fast corner, isn't it? So if you've got one of these cars going one way, then potentially the other and just taking a hit, he is out of the car and he's walking under his own power. I think he's just sustained a little bit of an injury to his right hand, potentially. He was just holding that there. But he is out of the car under his own power, which is great to see. And the marshals are now working on getting the car out of the way of the circuit. So good news there that Kevin is okay. We do, obviously, if he has injured his hand, wish him the quickest of recoveries.
Of course. Obviously, what happens, just in case, whether he's just simply bruised it or not, but the best thing to do is obviously allow the medical teams and, of course, Chief Medical Officer to look them over. He'll go to the medical centre just to get himself checked over to make sure it's nothing too serious. And, of course, fingers crossed that he is apart from maybe just a bit of a bruise in his hand, he is okay. But rather than speculate that, let's focus back on the race, which could potentially give us a bit of a sprint finish here, because we've got just over 4.5 minutes to go in this race, and I think the only person that will want this to stay on the safety car is Jack Brewer, because if it does, he'll have got into the lead at exactly the right time before the safety car came out. So, but if we do get back underway, he's going to have to possibly defend like nothing else in his life or in his racing career to try and hold on to this, because as we say, he hasn't won a race yet. He has finished on the podium, but nothing is ever guaranteed. So rather than saying guaranteed, saying he is going to win, things can obviously definitely change.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for the record, in terms of timing, just quickly, they have pushed away the Kevin Pemberton car, and the medical response unit is also just about to leave. So I know that's probably slowing up the field a bit on the safety car, maybe to give them a bit more time to clear some track vehicles. I don't think it's going to be they're going to move them quicker. They might do, in fact, actually. They might even move them quick enough to maybe get them underway this time by. Just keep an eye on the lights on top of the safety car here. If they go out, which they're still on at the moment, but the thing is they have to let them know with a reasonable amount of time, so they might even let them go around for one more time. So it could be maybe a 2-lap sprint to finish up the race. But it does appear as though I think Kevin Pemberton's car probably has been moved. And yeah, they're going to go around for one more lap, I think, just to make sure, rather than spring the surprise on them. So safety car leading the way. In terms of the championship contenders, I counted really 4 coming into the weekend, and those were in points order. It was coming into the weekend. It was Joe Wiggin from Oliver Allwood, then Mike Comber, and then from Will Blackwell Chambers. And I think this weekend, in some cases, might have possibly just turned the championship battle a little bit on its head, because we had Will Blackwell Chambers unable to start yesterday's first race. I think there were an issue they were trying to solve before the start of the race, which they couldn't able to do. There was a chance he might be able to start from the pit lane, but he missed that, sadly. Then we had Joe Wiggin, who was discovered after the race to have found a technical infringement on his car. So he has had his race win yesterday taken away, unfortunately, and that won't count as a drop score either, because they've changed the rule because of the shortened season, where it used to be normally you'd have 3 drop scores you take, but this year, because it's a shorter season, they're doing just the 1, so that makes a bit more sense there. And then it opens the door in some cases for both Mike Comber and Oliver Allwood. And Oliver Allwood, of course, he took 100 points, which would have helped him, I think, at least get ahead of Joe Wiggin. And then Mike Comber, of course, will want to try and take points away from Joe as well, so that'd be quite key. Now then, safety car lights are out, which means that this time by, we will get racing back underway. And I think we might have enough time.
Potentially 2 laps?
Yeah, 2 laps. They'll start the penultimate lap when they come across the line, and then there will be one proper flying lap towards the finish. So this is the challenge then, Chaz. Here's the big question. Can Jack Brewer potentially hold on for 2 laps to take his first MX5 championship win? It's a big question, but I guess the answer for sure is, I guess we'll find out.
Well, I mean, judging how it's been so far, Griffiths in 20th place could still take the win at this point. It's honestly amazing, the battles that we get here. We've got 1 minute and 40 seconds, so as the safety car just crosses the line now to enter the pit lane, Brewer is going to get this underway. He's got Comer literally pushing him around the exit of Luffield here, Scott, but I don't think we're going to see any sort of calm racing as we get underway once again here at Silverstone.
Yep, he's got a restart, but unfortunately for Jack, Comer's gone with him, so that's pretty tricky. So there's 1 or 2 cars, but actually going side by side. That's a bit cheeky. Oh, and that's interesting. Now then, Matt Luff looked to me as if he was in front. Unless I got that right. Yeah, Matt Luff was in front of Joe Wiggin before they crossed the line. Now that's not allowed, of course. You have to race till you get across the line. That's where the green flag is, and Joe probably didn't get a good enough restart, so he's got the momentum back. That might be Matt Luff's maybe defence, but at the same time, the rule is the rule. You cannot pass before he gets to the green flag, so that could be a tricky one, possibly even a penalty for Matt Luff. We'll wait for the stewards to make their own decision on that one. Meanwhile, Jack Brewer does indeed still lead. It's 2nd place for Comber. Luff is in 3rd at the moment, but Joe Wiggin might feel as though, again, because he overtook him with the yellow flags, it should be him there instead. Fisher is 5th, Allwood 6th. Then it's 7th place for Adam Craig. It's Graham, Foden and Mills. But the top 2 have been breaking away. And there goes Joe Wiggin trying to make a pass down the outside for 3rd place. A lock-up from Seb Fisher. Has to be careful not to hit the back of Wiggin as he goes into the left-hander at Brooklands. And Allwood's in there as well. Side by side between Craig and Graham. That's over 7th and 8th positions. And now, as they come out of Luffield, this is the crucial part of the race. They've got 15 seconds to go. There is one more lap left here. One more lap to decide who wins this race. Is it going to be Jack Brewer for the first time? Is it going to be Mike Comber for add another trophy to his cabinet? We'll have to wait and see. It's possibly side by side for thirds to come across the line. The timer hits 0 now, but they have started the last lap, and it is side by side for thirds. Joe Wiggin dives down the inside into Cop's corner, and possibly even leans on Luff a little bit. Luff goes over the curb and holds on. They're both going wide on the exit. 5th place now for Fisher, 6th for Allwood. Then it's still Craig from Graham, Foden and Mills. Meanwhile, for the lead, Comer is still almost pushing Jack Brewer here. Now, if he's going to try and make a move, it'll have to be down towards Brooklands, because that's the possible only opportunity that he's got. He will stay close in the slipstream. This is now where Jack Brewer really has to get defensive and hope that he can hold on to the position. Out of Beckett's for the final time, down the back straight. It's going to be side by side for third again. Fisher is also in there looking to try and get fifth. And here comes Comer up the inside. Is he going to make the move? Brewer might let him go round the outside if he can try and stick there. If he can hold on to the outside, he will try. He is going round the outside. If he can hold on, it's still side by side, and Brewer will try and fight it all the way. But Comer has got through into Brook, as I said, that was the key opportunity, and he's absolutely taken it with both hands. Out of Luffield for the final time. Brewer will try and with a little wide there for Comer, and it could be the resurgence there for Brewer. He tries to go round the outside. It's going to be side by side or a photo finish, but in a drag race to a line, possibly a second of the win. Cross the line, they go, almost a photo finish, but Comer does get it on the line by 84 one-thousandths of a second. Brewer is second, and he only finished ahead of his teammate by 87 thousandths of a second, with Joe Wiggin in third. Fisher gets fourth ahead of Allwood and Luff, with Foden, Craig, Graham and Mills in the top 10. That top 10 covered by 2.1 seconds, and Steve Foden set the fastest lap on the last lap of the race.
Well,
and breathe.
Yeah,
that was a tense finish, and I did sound the onto it. Brooklands was going to be the key opportunity,
yeah,
and Comer took it with both hands, stuck it down the inside, and credit to Jack Brewer. He tried so hard to stick around the outside line, but Comer closed off the avenues to go back up the inside at Luffield, got the move done, and that's a win for Mike Comer.
Top 10 separated by less than... top 20 separated by less than 10 seconds. That's intense, that is. But yeah, like you say, Brewer, he tried to get it back. He could have made a real issue of it by trying to go squeezing down the inside of Woodcote. You saw that he did go to the right, and he thought, no, let's not do that. Let's go back right behind him. Just try and push him to the line and dive out. And unfortunately didn't quite get it over the line. Good stuff from Wigan in third, though. He managed to get that back from Luffy, who eventually finished sixth. But there is your result, Scott.
So Mike Comer makes the pass when it counts, and he wins the final race of the weekend for the MX5 Championship. But he does it by 84 one-thousandths of a second from Jack Brewer, who was so close to that first win. But he knows he's got the confidence now to get into that position and race at the front. He knows his pace, and that should give him some good confidence heading to Donington. To Brands Hatch, forgive me. Then it's Joe Wiggin, third place. It's a make-up for yesterday after the win of the race. Sebastian Fisher gets fourth. Then it's Oliver Allwood in fifth position from Matt Luff in 60. Foden with the fastest lap on that last lap gets seventh. Adam Craig finishes 8th, and it's Oliver Graham and Owen Mills rounding up the top 10. Good run from Owen Mills this weekend. He's had a couple of good results and good pace. Ian Blake equally in 11th place. Paul Bateman, I think, was top Masters driver home in 12th. He was. From Ben O'Hare in 13th, Oliver Attard in 14th, then Tim Dorr in 15th place, then Bill Taylor, Luke Pullen, who couldn't make the progress I thought he would, but in 17th place for him. Matt Allen gets 18th from Nick Ledoyen, and Bryn Griffiths to round out the top 20. As you say, top 20 covered by less than 10 seconds. Impressive stuff. Safety car restart or not. Bo Parry 21st. From Cian Donaldson in 22nd, then William Bream, Thomas Holland, Clive Chisnell, Graham Rumsey, George King, Marco Attard 28th, so not quite the weekend I guess he was hoping, but it is his first weekend in the MX5, so he's still learning. Even British GT champions can learn new things. And then Ollie Walden and Chris Malloy round out the top 30. And then the last of the finishes, we had Tim Storer, Andrew Dean, George Grant, Gina Watkinson and David Sculler. And then the two cars that we saw getting involved with each other at Copse Corner, which caused the safety car, sadly, Stephen New and Kevin Pemberton. I imagine Kevin has gone to the medical centre, but again, he did look he was holding his hand or his wrist. But we all hope that he is as okay as he can be in that situation. Of course, he will have gone there purely at least as a precaution, as anyone does in any incident. So there it is, the top three from our final MX5 Championship race of the weekend. And to have a chat to our top three and find out how that last sprint finish was in those last two laps, we'll throw you back down to Bryn when he's ready in a couple of moments' time. But that's our MX5 action done for the Mark 1. Super Cup coming up later, but Bryn will have the top three in a couple of moments' time.
Thanks very much there, gents. Yeah, what a race, what an end. I mean, the safety car coming out there, 2 laps, 2 flying laps really at the end, and the very final corners. Well, no one was leaving anything, whether they all finished, they're all going home at the end of this. Why not finish with a flurry, or a McFlurry, if you're anywhere near a fast food chain? Never mind. Right, let's get some winners, shall we? I can't breathe in the mask. It's giving me all lightheaded. That's the trouble. Right then. What a race there, Mike. The last couple of corners in particular.
Yeah, no, it was a great race. Jack did brilliant to get a good getaway. Got a bit of breathing space when I think Joe missed a gear. Otherwise, it'd have been a lot harder if I had the pressure of someone like Joe on the back of me. So, and to be honest, my team didn't have a pit board out to tell me how long was left, but I saw their pit board. So I knew there was a lap left, so thanks Team Tucker for helping out on that side.
Well, that's just evil, isn't it? Not only you thank them for that, but you got them on the last couple of corners as well. When you look at the race and the way it was panning out, particularly with the safety car, you don't know how long you're going to get after the restart. You have to stay so focused, don't you? And you must have had that belief that you were going to find a jump at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I've really struggled this weekend. Cars felt great, just it's a bit of a power circuit, and I'm not down on power. I'm not going to sort of say that that's the issue. It's just that it's so evenly matched, and the toe makes such a difference. Whenever you hit the front, it's just so difficult to pull away. So yeah, it's just I was just thinking, as long as I'm near the front, whenever there's an opportunity, take it, because you never know when the next one's going to come. That was the game plan, and it worked. But great drive from Jack. It's he's not as experienced at the front end, but he's fitted in really well in there. You'd think that he'd had years of experience. He drove really well there.
We often see it with a lot of MX5 racing that the car at the front can never pull away, but the car behind finds it hard to get past. So for you to find that little way through, was it experience or was it a mistake?
No, a bit of experience really. Just sort of knowing I've been on the wrong side a few times around here, so I was determined to not repeat those sort of mistakes really, and they're so experience really. But Jack drove brilliant. He couldn't have done any more. Gave me racing room at the same time as a bit like earlier on when he overtook me. Fantastic move. Racing room, it makes great racing, and I've got a lot of respect for every driver on the grid.
It's a fantastic race to watch. Well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
There you go, race winner. Speaking to him, let's get Jack in as well. So Jack came second. I mean, really, the very last few corners of the entire race there. Jack, talk us through that. You so nearly had it.
What can I say? It was just a really good race. The safety car, it was the first time I've led a safety car restart, so that was a bit new for me. Mike drove really well. He was really clean. I got a good move on him earlier on in the race, and then towards the end of the race, it was last lap. I didn't realise it was last lap, if I'm perfectly honest, and left the car's width on the inside, and he filled it. So fair play to him. It was a good clean move, and I think we had a pretty good race, to be honest.
Well, he just said that his team didn't put a pit board out to say it was the last lap. He saw it because of your team's pit board.
Whoops.
It was a great race. Well done.
Thank you very much. Big thank you to all my sponsors as well, Airborne Graphics and Signs and EPTA Projects, Actor Projects. They've just been brilliant all season, and obviously massive thank you to Tucker Motorsport for preparing the car, because they've done the best job all weekend, so thank you very much.
Fantastic stuff. We've got time for one quick word then from the third place driver as the cars come up to the grid for the very next race. These BRSCC meetings, the racing does come thick and fast. Joe, talk us through that third place for you.
Yeah, it was hard really. With the safety car, I didn't really get into the groove of like we wanted to, but thanks to Tucker Motorsport, SFR, Eco Trailer, CN Science, we're still on the podium. It's been a good weekend, I suppose. Well done to Jack, my teammate, on second place. Just got unlucky really. We didn't do the first race this morning, so we didn't have a bit of track knowledge, and I think we just missed the setup a little bit, and I was just struggling. So to get back on the podium is a great result, and I'll never say no to a trophy.
Exactly. It's always nice to finish with a bit of something for the mantelpiece.
Yeah, the car's in one piece, so I can't complain really.
Well done. There you go, great stuff from the drivers from the Mazda MX-5s. We are back with another race. Like, you can hear them probably getting ready just over your shoulder. If you were to glance around, you'd see it right now, but we're going to wait just a few seconds because I've got to hand back to our commentators, to Chaz, to Scott, for more action from the BRSCC with the Fiestas once again.